Federal Republic of Nigeria, we welcome our indefatigable Mr. President with his very, very delectable wife, the mother of the nation, accompanied by Mr. President and others. You're welcome, Mr. President. We'll allow Mr. President to exchange pleasantries. I can see him walking to see some of his friends. Our delectable First Lady, Mother of the Nation, you're welcome. Mr. President and his amiable wife, and then the Vice President, you're very much welcome. The Senate President, we will give them time to finish exchanging the pleasantries before I establish the protocol. Do we have Timi Dakolo in the house? We're told that Timi would have loved to sing a special part of our anthem to Mr. President, but he has not shown his face at this side of the podium. So we will jolly well continue with the program. I did say that Nigeria is blessed with a bundle of hospitable, friendly, nice people, led by Mr. President himself. rather than sit down on arrival like the original Omoluabi in Yoruba parlance. Omoluabi will first go pay homage and greetings to his friends and associates, and that's what he just did. You're welcome, Mr. President. Now I'll be establishing the protocol. I want everyone to get seated because the program is about starting. I remain Omotayo Omotusho, Member Federal Republic, a veteran broadcaster, media entrepreneur, culture, creative arts, and tourism consultant. I have the singular privilege to be here as the Master of Ceremony, and my professional colleague is here with me as a co-MC, Andy Gabriel. Andy has just taken a bow. The President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, his delectable wife, First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, our darling sister, Mother of the Nation, Vice President and his dear wife, Mr. President of the Senate, and his dear wife, Speaker, House of Representatives, Chief Justice of Nigeria, and other members of the judiciary here present, members of the National Assembly here present, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chief of Staff to Mr. President and his amiable wife, executive governors here present, honorable ministers and other members of the Federal Executive Council, distinguished members of the ruling party and other political parties supporting what's going on in Nigeria, supporting this nation, senior government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, captains of industry, our royal fathers and religious leaders here present, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, my constituency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of Mr. President to welcome all of you to this very, very special occasion. 25 years of uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria. Myself and my colleague Andy, as I said earlier on, have taken it upon ourselves to let Nigerians know that we are commemorating 25 years in appreciating what God has done for this nation. It's not a matter of throwing excesses and bounties. We have a president that is very, very sensitive to the plight of Nigerians. And for those that do not know, that's the reason why Mr. President canceled all celebrations for the one-year anniversary. He did say to himself, I have that singular responsibility to ensure that every Nigerian is happy. Every Nigerian can afford 3 square meals. He has the responsibility to ensure high cost of living goes down. And so we were told, even when we were preparing to be the MCs, last week of May, for the one-year anniversary, that Mr. President had declined and canceled that. He says no. He has more responsibility of ensuring he puts food on the table of every individual effortlessly. And then we quickly had to start sending messages to him that we feel what you feel, Mr. President, and it shows how sensitive you are. Lots of Nigerians were so happy to hear that. But that for democracy, sir, we must get together to appreciate God. We are not throwing parties. We are not throwing bounties. We are here as responsible Nigerian citizens to appreciate what God has done, holding us together for 25 glorious years. And so without much ado, in our ability to dream, to innovate, to re-engineer, and the conviction that Nigeria will be a better place, that explains why all of us are here tonight celebrating the values of democracy. The values of democracy, led by Mr. Democracy himself, who sacrificed so much in ensuring that democracy is enthroned in Nigeria in 1999. A round of applause for Mr. President. You're welcome, sir. Without much ado, I'd like to call on the Secretary to the Government of the Federation that will be delivering his welcome address to formally come up to welcome us in person of Senator George Akume, gentleman that had been working assiduously in ensuring this turns out to be a success. A round of applause for him, please.
The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, JCFR, accompanied by the First Lady, Her Excellency Senator Remi Tinubu, the Vice President, His Excellency Kashim Shettima JCOA, was accompanied by his wife, President of the Senate, Goodwill, also accompanied by his wife, the Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, Tajuddin, ably represented by the Deputy Speaker, Barrister Kalu, Principal Officers of the National Assembly, members of the National Assembly, Chief of Staff, members of the Federal Executive Council, special advisors, party leaders, elder statesmen, distinguished invited guests, my Lord, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Your Lordship, You are most sincerely welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today, this evening, we have come to the conclusion of a series of activities we started in commemoration of 25 years of unbroken democracy in our dear country. Democracy remains the preferred system of government. And because a lot of value is attached to it, citizens strive to make it a reality. Sometimes, some pay the supreme sacrifice, as in our case in Nigeria. But one thing is very certain: Nigerians have resolved to support our democracy under the leadership today of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs no introduction when you talk about the fight for the sanctity of democracy. He was in the trenches along with his colleagues, his associates, his brothers, to ensure that Nigeria joined the committee of civilized nations who decide to be ruled by the choice of the people. After a series of activities, we are here gathered on the invitation of Mr. President to be treated to this sumptuous dinner. Distinguished Nigerians, ladies and gentlemen, you are sincerely welcome and bon appetit. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and your very lovely wife, Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just as you've heard from the Secretary to Government of the Federation, dinner is served. But before dinner, we still have a few other things to do very quickly before we go for dinner. Just as we've been told from the outset, this is a two-pronged event. First, we're celebrating the uninterrupted 25 years of governance of democracy in Nigeria. And of course, it coincides with the one-year anniversary of our amiable president, who has done everything to ensure that Nigeria gets better. And that is what he has vowed to do. That was the oath he took. And he has said he would not leave any stone unturned to make Nigeria a better country. And because he's going to march us to El Dorado, I'd like that we celebrate our dear president with a very resounding applause just as we move on this evening. Moving on with the program of this dinner event, we'd like to apologize to very many of our distinguished guests that were not recognized in the course of this evening before the arrival of His Excellency, the chief host of this evening's dinner event. But before then, I'd like to, at this point, ask all of us to fix our gaze on the LED screens in the hall as we watch Democracy Day Anniversary documentary. It tells a lot of story about where we started and where we are and where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, by the grace of God, is taking Nigeria. Please, let's watch.
As the June 12th anniversary beckons, the occasion offers Nigerians another opportunity to reflect on the country's democratic journey. The 2024 Democracy Day celebration on Wednesday, the 12th of June, is historic for the country. It is the second Democracy Day in the administration of President Bola Tinubu, who is the first June 12 activist to become Nigeria's leader.
Yes, we pay eternal honor to those who laid down their lives, sacrificing everything to pave the way for the nation. I stand uniquely placed in this regard, and I was among those who took the risk to midwife the birth of our democracy. I am now a direct and obvious beneficiary of the fruit of those historic efforts. As a president of this nation, I am morally and constitutionally bound to preserve this precious form of governance. I vow to do my utmost best to protect your rights, freedom, and liberty as citizens of Nigeria.
Leaders emerged to defend democracy in our dear country. And one of them is today the president of our country. Some perished in that struggle. Fortunately, many survived with bruises. Some were forced into exile. Some were detained locally. The families were harassed. But they remained resilient. Today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in charge. And he's dedicated his life to this struggle for democracy, struggle to serve the people. And basically that is what he's doing.
It is also the 31st anniversary of the annulled June 12, 1993 presidential election, won by the late business mogul and politician, Chief MKO Abiola. As the nation celebrates another June 12th anniversary, expectations are high. Some members of President Tinubu's cabinet described him as a nationalist who understands the nation's problems.
I'm not from this particular section of the country. I'm from Niger State. I'm his Minister of Information and National Orientation. The media thrives more in Lagos. The bulk of the professionals in this practice, as you know, are in Lagos. He didn't go to Lagos to search for his Minister of Information. He came to the North Central Zone, to the center of Nigeria. He found me. I never lobbied to be Minister of Information. But I asked him, sir, why did you make me Minister of Information? And he said, because I trust you can do it. And that is why I will do everything possible to support him. To do it in the best way I could, but also respecting the tenets of the profession.
But people try to say, pressure came. It's pressure. I'm not for anybody to put pressure. It's the man who called me, so I should come as well. You remember, I'm not a APC person. People are not happy about it. Even some of the members are not happy about it. And I understand what Mr. President would have asked for him to have appointed me, not just appointing me, to make me FCT minister. You should know that. So why would I disappoint him? Why would I go and say under pressure and then go and do what is not right or fail to perform? No, I won't do that. The day I leave here, I'm happy. And that, yes, I left with happiness that I did my work, and thanks to him that he gave me this position to showcase myself, what I have, what it takes. And I'm happy that I'm part of the New Hope agenda that is trying to make things work, trying to bring back hope.
Others say he is recruiting the right talents to assist him in addressing the challenges facing the country.
One thing you do, Mr. President, for is assembling the right people to do the right job. So we have planned before we even get the ticket. And I know that what Mr. President is known for is getting water out of rock. And one of our key strengths is our ability to mobilize domestic resources to resolve our problem. If you look at our antecedents in Lagos State, and then so we have planned.
For some, he's a leader with institutional memory, having been part of the country's political struggles and knows what is required to revamp the economy.
You don't have to agree with everything that government is doing. And I mean, that's why it's called democracy. I mean, it's not for everyone to follow one direction. Democracy is not a one-way journey. It's a long haul. You have many routes to it, but we all must keep our track. We must all keep our focus in sight.
I consider it poetic justice that the one man in our modern times that actually fought for this democracy is actually sitting and enjoying the fruits of his labor. The president has been described in so many different languages and terms as, modern day Democrat, the biggest Democrat in Nigeria, because his works speak loudly and boldly. His reputation precedes him. He fought. He was an exile. He was chased out of town. He fought from within and from without. All for one thing and only. And it's important to understand and underscore the fact that at the time when he was fighting for democracy, he wasn't looking for anything. It was just something he believed in and he was passionate about. He wasn't running for office at the time. And he just believed that Nigeria, somebody had to stand and fight for democracy to be enshrined in our country.
They say with a key actor in the June 12th struggle in the saddle, the future is bright for the country.
The emergence of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 30 years after is very symbolic. That his emergence will be the first time that a true progressive will assume the mantle of leadership of this country. Somebody who had sacrificed his resources, his personal properties, his personal liberty, and everything for the struggle. That will be the first time in the history of Nigeria.
These perspectives provided by the president in his nationwide broadcast and his team show that Nigeria is on the right political and economic path.
Yes, we need to give those behind that beautiful production a louder round of applause. I've been reliably informed, as a producer myself, that that beautiful, enlightening, informative, and educating production was put together by Mr. President's videographer and his team. Another round of applause. Thank you. Now we go straight to Goodwill messages. 25 years of unbroken democratic, not just administration, I'll say democratic journey, because it is a journey. And so to deliver Goodwill messages today, in appreciation of what God is doing for us as a nation under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, are 5 national icons that we've been reliably informed that they will talk to us for just 2 minutes so that we can get going as quickly as we can. And so the very first person of those 5 people is a former minister, external affairs, we used to call it at that time. For those of us that were already adults, now we call it foreign affairs. Let's put our hands together for Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, the very first out of the 5 that will be delivering the Goodwill message. Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. Prof, please step forward, sir. Can somebody guide? Thank you, Andy. Prof is now elder statesman. We're told that we should even bring it to where I think. Oh, he's here. I wanted to have that overrise. Over to you, sir.
Mr. President, all protocol observances have been given only 2 minutes. I don't know how I'm allowed to stay on this occasion. We once had an event in Lagos, and I was running my mouth too long. And General Akinrin just said, don't say everything, you never can tell when this event may occur. But after 25 years, I am sure we are set. And so I can say a little bit more. For me, they are personal, because the president was the one who got me out of this country. I won't go into the details. But the so-called Nadeco route, it was the president who created that route, and I was the first beneficiary of that. I also, because I traveled on behalf of Nadeco, I know who funded those trips. The president funded those trips. I got the money from him, so not that I was told. I know I got the money from him. And he had to sell his house in London in order to fund Nadeco. Again, I know about it because I was in that house before he sold it. So I know the sacrifice that he made. One thing that surprised me, however, was the links that he had all over Africa, because I will be in a place, then I will get a call, and he will say, Prof, I think you better leave that place latest tomorrow morning. And it will be when I go back to London that he will tell me what had been planned in that place. Through his contacts, he will know. So, links, creating links is not new to our president. And I am sure that this country will continue to benefit from his ability to create these links. So, my colleagues in Nadeco are here. So on behalf of them, I thank you for this recognition. It's not me who is recognized, it's members of Nadeco who are all over here, because we know now we have one of us who is in charge of democracy in this country, the democracy that we fought for. Thank you very much.
That's one of our elder statesmen, a man of repute and integrity. Please, let's give him another round of applause. I recall a few years ago, for all of us to see how God works in mysterious ways. At the Lagos television, immediately after the death of the junta, immediately after Abacha died, a few weeks later, we had a special August visitor drove into the premises of LSBC, Lagos State Broadcasting Corporation. And I was chairman governing board of LSBC at that time, sometime 1998 or so. And this gentleman walked in, possibly drove himself, and my general manager, Lagos Television, saw him and brought him upstairs to my office. And it turned out to be the very, very committed, patriotic Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. It wasn't a GCFR at that time. And as soon as Leko Gumbanwo brought him in, my dear Egbon said, I have come to continue to fight for democracy. That's why I'm here at LTV, to tell Nigerians not to surrender until democracy is enthroned. Today, 2024, his prayers had been answered, not for himself, but for Nigerian nation. Thank you, CJ. He started the clapping. I think we should give our president a louder round of applause. It shows his level of commitment way back many, many years ago. So whoever thought he got to this position accidentally should go back to read history. The hands of God have destined that today, in 2024, the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria will be Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. God bless you, sir. Quickly calling on this gentleman that will be speaking next, Senator Shehu Sani. Please come up to the podium for your own goodwill message. I can see Senator Sani walking up to the podium. And I want George Mba to be on standby because we'll be calling him after distinguished senator. And after George Mba, we'll have yet another elder statesman, former governor of Ogun State, Chief Segun Oshoba, followed by Honorable Minister Solid Minerals, Dele Alake. You're welcome, distinguished senator.
Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and his beautiful wife, the First Lady, the Vice President, the President of the Senate, all protocol observed, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a privilege to be invited here to speak on this historic and memorable day, a day that has been set in the history of Nigeria when men and women of conviction stood in the defense of the ideals of freedom and democracy. Mr. President, the first time I saw you was in the sitting room of Chief MQ Abiola when we were plotting to organize a serious mass resistance against the military. And the second time I can remember was when you were one of those whom Chief MQ Abiola set to talk to Abacha. And one incident that happened was that the security men tried to shove you away, and today you are the president of this country. Mr. President, you have a duty and a responsibility to succeed as a leader who came from the trenches, from the tribes and generations of those who sacrificed their life in the defense of freedom. It is unfortunate that a hole like this there are specific figures we have missed. We have missed the presence of Chief Gani Fawahimi. We have missed the presence of Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti. We have missed the presence of Alhaji Balarabe Musa. We have missed the presence of Dr. Bala Usman. We have missed the presence of Shima Obani. We have missed the presence of many who sacrificed their life in the defense of democracy. A day like this will not be complete without appreciating the role played by the likes of Colonel Abubakar Dangiwa Umar, the likes of Chief Abraham Adesanya, Alani Akao Boshorun, and the likes of Fred Eno. Mr. President, even though the governor of Kaduna State removed me from the seat, I will always remember that he was one of those who stood for us when we were in prison. He was among those who kept the torch of freedom alive while many of us languished in the cell. Mr. President, I would like to draw your attention to this fact and this truth. The national anthem cannot unite a nation. A national pledge cannot unite a nation. A constitution cannot unite a nation. A nation is united by the ideals of freedom. A nation is united by equity and by justice. Many younger generations of today have not and couldn't know the sacrifice we have made to restore democracy to this country. It is important that we bring to attention to those who were not here in those days of the struggle. This democracy was not a gift given to us by the military. It was not a lottery that we won. It was a product of struggle and sacrifice. There were people who were forced into exile, like the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and the likes of Wole Soyinka. There were people who were sent to prison, like us. We're supposed to spend the first 15 years of our life in prison, but by the magnanimity of God, we were out. There were many who were dead. This democracy was a product of struggle. The Academic Staff Union of Nigeria made sacrifices. Nigerian media made sacrifices. The NUPENG, headed by the like of Frank Kokori, made sacrifices. The National Association of Nigerian Students made sacrifices. This democracy was a product of that struggle, was a product of that commitment, and was a product of that determination. Mr. President, you have a duty to succeed. If you succeed, you will share your glory because you came from the trenches, you came from that struggle, you come from that period of struggle. Mr. President, if you fail, they will say that those of you who fought for democracy have nothing new to offer to Nigeria. We will pray for you, and we believe that the reforms which you have taken, there is no doubt about it, you too have recognized the untold hardship and the suffering it has inflicted on millions of people. But we are expecting that at the end of the day, it will bear fruit, and people will rejoice and say that the sacrifices that they have made, the consequences of that reforms, was something that was worth all this trouble. Mr. President, thank you for the honor and the privilege, and do something about the Nigerian prisons, because they were the ones who hosted us in those days and in those dark days of the struggle. And on the last call, Mr. President, there are some people who are still in detention as a result of the NSAS protest. They were young people who were protesting for justice, for freedom, and for democracy. Any young protester in Nigeria today learned from you, because you were the father of protest in Nigeria. Do something about it. Give them the freedom. You taught us, you funded us to stand up and fight. So they are your children and your grandchildren. Give them the pardon. Thank you and God bless.
Vintage Shehu Sani there for you, a very renowned activist. And I can tell you for free that His Excellency, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today would wear that toga of the defendant of our democracy. Can we please applaud the President one more time? May I, at this juncture, crave an indulgence to then invite Chief Judge Mba to please come forward with his own goodwill message. And please, would like to plead with you for want of time, skip protocols as much as possible after His Excellency the President and the Vice President. You may stand on the already established protocol for want of time. Well, thank you very much. You have 3 minutes, please. Judge Mba.
Mr. President, I congratulate you on your victory as President of Nigeria. You represent all who fought for democracy in Nigeria, all who fought for the democracy and the rule of law. You represent them. I congratulate you on your victory. We pray that you uphold all those values of rule of law and democracy which you fought for. To uphold them now, we have the privilege to be President of Nigeria. I know for sure that you are one of the few Democrats who supported the families of those who were in detention or imprisoned. And I was told how you personally helped my own family in those dark days while I was incarcerated in Butte Prison. I thank you. I thank you. And I know that since then we have met one or two times in your home at Borderland Road in Ikoyi. I remember that evening, even though you are having dinner with I think Lai Mohammed then and Fayemi, who later became governor, but you still allowed me to see you, even under that circumstance. You took me to your office and had very fruitful discussion. So I thank you. Now you are the president who keep praying that you cannot afford to fail. You cannot afford to fail Nigerians. You cannot afford to fail Nigerians. Thank you.
It also goes to say that the President has never failed and will not fail. Moving on very quickly, it is my honor and privilege at this point to invite an elder statesman, former governor of Old Ogun State, a leader of thought, His Excellency Aremo Segun Oshoba, to please come to the podium for his goodwill message. Please, a warm round of applause for him. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Commander-in-Chief, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the wife, First Lady, Mr. Vice President and the wife, as we have been told, we stand on existing protocol. Please, Mr. President, you will allow me to do something. I was shocked this afternoon when I entered the bus at Transcorp to see the array of those who fought. When I saw Ayobe, Agbakuba, do I have your permission to ask all of them wherever they are, Nadeco, CD, Campaign for Democracy, everybody to please stand up wherever you are and let us clap for you. I saw about 60 people, and it's only the president that can gather them together. All those who are involved in those days, in whichever group that you are, Ayo, Padoku, Agbakoba, Afenifere, Nadeco, they're all here. Please, can you all stand and let us recognize them? They were about 40 or 50, and only you could have brought all of us together. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Now, Mr. President, I once told the story of Mr. President having committed treasonable felony. The president you are seeing here was one charged for treasonable felony. Why? He convened the Senate under Abacha. Ame Ebute, and I can see Abu Ibrahim here. They met under Abacha, under a military government. They reconvened the Senate under Ame Ebute, the president, and declared Abacha government illegal. Can you imagine a group of senators sitting down and declaring a military government illegal, and was charged to court? Thank God, Odunowo and late Begore gave him bail from Alagbon. The president and his co-conspirators, senators, were detained in Alagbon. So today, Mr. President, is the joy of all of us who are involved in the struggle that you are now the president of this country. Because I remember June 2007, after you completed your term as governor, we invited you to a luncheon at the Chinese restaurant in Glover by Kingsway Road. And it was there that it was decided that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should move out of Lagos and move to Abuja to go and play national politics. Thank God, you made it. We lost in Lagos. Our loss in Lagos is the gain of Nigeria today. Mr. President, I want to thank you. People have spoken of your generosity. Even when he was in exile, he was funding the Lagos State Afenifere, the Lagos State Nadeco, the Lagos State. So I was not surprised when he came back from the exile and they decided unanimously to make him the governor of Lagos State. Thank God, I'm happy to be alive to see this day, and to all of you who are involved in the struggle that I met today. I was almost moved to tears when I look at the faces. When I saw Yobe, I said, I saw Agbakoba. He was in Jamaica shirt. And I said, thank God we are all alive to see one of us be president of this country. You've seen it all. By the grace of God, you will do very well for this country. And I'm confident that by the grace of God, you take Nigeria to a higher height. God bless Nigeria.
We say a loud amen to the prayer prayed by our elder statesman. The last but not the least of those 5 gentlemen, I wish I'd gone through the list much earlier, because I know our First Lady is very, very gender sensitive. She would have wanted at least a lady to be amidst the 5. I'm sure she would have wanted that. I'm just saying that, but no problem. Mommy, we allow that to pass today. So I want to call on yet another hero of democracy, a very, very professional journalist and a media colleague of mine, a gentleman that passionately believes in Nigeria. By God's grace, he is our Honorable Minister, Solid Minerals. Let's put our hands together for Dele Alaki. Mr. Dele Alaki. I can see him coming on this other side of the auditorium. I knew it would be a misnomer if he's not here. He must be here. You're welcome, my brother, my friend.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and someone I'd like to label as a professor of political packaging. And I say this with all sense of responsibility. And as a participant observer in the entire saga of June 12, from the very inception till today, I think God has afforded me a very rare privilege of being part and parcel of several momentous events in the annals of this country, especially the June 12 saga. And I say with conviction that our president today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been involved in packaging politics and political strategies from day one that he left the chambers of the corporate world and forayed into politics. When he contested the highly contentious primaries to become a senator in 1991, his constituency happened to be the largest in Nigeria. And so the primaries were hotly contested. And some of us sitting on the editor's chair at the time, we had a vantage position of close observation. And we were also inexorably drawn into the political fracas that ensued. To cut the story short, the president won the primaries. Not only that, won the general elections, became a senator with the largest constituency in Nigeria, and entered the Senate in 1992. And not only was a senator, he became the pivot, even in the Senate, around which all contentious and knotty issues of governance of Nigeria revolved. Don't forget, we were still under the military. General Babangida was still president. However, we have a personality here today who was also an integral part of that process. At the time when our president contested on the platform of a party and went into the Senate, this gentleman, a diplomat par excellence, and a very distinct administrator, was also chairing the political party that was the platform upon which our president contested at the time. He is Alhaji Babagana Kingibe, who is also here tonight. And of course, later on became the vice presidential candidate of our hero of today, the symbol of our celebration today, Basharu MK Abiola, who also happened to be my direct boss at the time. Fast forward Ashiwaju made his mark in the Senate, such that even the president, the military president of that time, General Babangida, had to pull him close. He had to become the interfacing mechanism between the larger members of the Senate and President Babangida. But of course, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, everybody in Nigeria knew, except for the leadership, the top brass of the military, that the military did not want to leave office. And so, there were convoluted transition programs. The military will set up a transition program and abort it midway. And that led invariably to the herding of several presidential candidates in late 1992 into detention in Lekki. And thus, the way was cleared. Everybody then nicknamed the president Maradona. If you recall, those who were around there, he became known as Maradona because he was meandering. And then Basharu M.K. Abiola entered the fray. It was on January 3rd of 1993 that he decided to go public with his intention. I had the privilege, very rare, of being someone to craft the public statement that informed the world that Basharu Abiola was contesting the election. And of course, our president was one of the pillars of Basharu M.K. Abiola in the struggle, in the process of primaries at the ward level, to local government, to state, which culminated in the Jos primaries of March 1993. And Alhaji Babagana Kingibe was a hot contender. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was a hot contender at Basharu M.K. Abiola. Now you know the history and the trajectory. Basharu M.K. Abiola emerged, became the candidate. Alhaji Babagana Kingibe became the vice. And the elections held. That was the day, June 12th, that became a watershed in the history of Nigeria. Because on that date, everybody from every nook and cranny of Nigeria trooped out to vote peacefully, transparently, fairly, and very efficiently. There was not a single violent incident recorded in any part of Nigeria that day. And so it was obvious to all who the winner of that election was. And the results started tumbling in. And from the trend of results, the whole world knew that MKO had won the election. And on June 16th, after most of the results had come in, Basharu MKO Abiola called myself and Mr. Tunji Bello into his room and asked me that the bill for the adverts that we ran throughout the campaign of that election, we were still owing the advert agency that we used. He said I should go and bring the bill because he did not want to take any debt to the presidency. I went to my car, I couldn't find the bill. So I came back upstairs and said, Chairman, the President, we will bring it tomorrow. It was the evening of that June 16th that there was a task press statement unsigned suspending the release of the results. And from there on June 24th, the final annulment was announced by the government. And Nigeria plunged into the abyss of darkness and into the struggle. And that was when the prowess of our president today came to the surface. He threw himself headlong into the struggle. Like all the other speakers have said, his house was firebombed.
his family dispersed. He was apprehended. And 4 of them, senators, after Abacha had declared, come in, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and 4 of his senators addressed a statement to the whole world and reinstated all the democratic structures like the military council. And of course, they became targets. So they were apprehended and thrown into Alagbon detention. Now, the remarkable thing about your president and our president is that inside Alagbon detention, some of us were leg operatives. He was directing the struggle from within detention. And we were carrying out the struggle outside. And he was also funding. I was going to him in Alagbon Close, and he would give instructions. I will carry the instructions to the operatives outside. Whether incarcerated or not, he was funding and directing and strategizing on the struggle until eventually he was hounded out of Nigeria with Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. He has alluded to that. General Akinrade, Chief John Oyegun, and the rest, so many. Of course, his family, like I said, had been dispersed. Her Excellency had also eventually had to find her way out of Nigeria. And when Abacha shut down our newspapers at the time, some of us also found our ways outside. And of course, who did we go to abroad? It was the president. There is no journalist in this country today, and Bayo Ononuga can bear me witness, who was hounded out of Nigeria during that struggle and in exile that did not benefit directly from the largesse of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He sponsored us, he fed us abroad, and he was still continuing the struggle. At that time, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi is here. General Alani Akinriade's house, his apartment in Success Gardens, off Edgware Road in London, was the official NADECO office, and meetings were held there all the time. I used to go there. The president introduced me to the gathering. In the president's house, then, when his activities became too troublesome for even the British authorities, they planted an espionage system in front of his house. They brought a bus stop, and then they started surveying, casting surveillance on his house. There was a day I will never forget in my life. It was cold, February. We were in coats. We came out of his house going to the NADECO meeting. He now told me that I should look at that car. There were maybe MI5, MI6 officials casing his house. He told me, those are spies. They are spying on us. So I now put my winter coat over my head to cover my face so they won't see me. Lo and behold, our president not only opened his eyes, he went to the spies and told them, this is me. If you are looking for me, this is me. I almost wet my pants because I was scared shitless we will be arrested. To cut it short, he continued the struggle until 98. In 1998, when everything happened, Abacha passed, MK Abiola passed, and he decided to come home to take part in the transition program. And that's why I said in that documentary that this is the first time that a true Democrat, a true progressive, who took part in the political wing of the struggle, in the economic, financial wing of the struggle, in the activism of the struggle, on the streets, on the barricades, will become the president of Nigeria. And that's not a mean feat. And that is why those who fought for democracy are the only ones that appreciate the nuances of it, the dynamics of it, and the eventual success of it. That's why it takes a man of vision like our president, a man of knowledge and a man of courage to steer the ship of state at this critical time in the annals of Nigeria. And he has done it before. He will do it again.
Congratulations, sir. We thank God for your life. Thank you.
When you invite a journalist to come and analyze all that our own Asiwaju had gone through, you could imagine he would want to be as detailed as necessary. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister Dele Alake. Without much ado, we will go to the next program for tonight. But then, needful to let all of us know that Mr. President has directed, and it's been brought to our notice here, that the menu should be served. Food should be served. You would have noticed some plated cuisines moving from one table or the other. But if you have not been served, we have 5 serving points. 5 serving points. The Director of Protocol just whispered to me a few minutes ago that I should announce that President says everyone should have a meal before it gets cold. So we're not waiting for when it gets to the item on the program. So, our servers, please ensure that everyone is served. We're here thanking God for 25 years of uninterrupted democracy. Thank you so much. Everyone should be served. For God to have given us the grace to remain one indivisible corporate entity, we need to thank God. It warrants appreciation. And we know that a grateful heart will receive more. So what we are doing tonight for all those that are watching us all over the world, it's not just in Nigeria, in all the continents of the world, under our able President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, we're here to show appreciation to God Almighty. We are here to show appreciation to God Almighty. And we believe God that since we are marking 25 years of democracy, He will give us the grace to see another 25 years, by His special grace. Thank you. Over to you, Andy.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Your Excellency, our dear President, please permit me to stand on the already established protocol as we dovetail into entertainment. But just as we talk about entertainment, I must be honest with you, we have a lot of governors here who are supporting the entertainment industry, and we'd like to appreciate all of you. I see the governor of Imo, the governor of Delta, the governor of Rivers State, the governor of Kaduna, the governor of Kogi, the governor of Akwa Ibom, the governor of Kwara State, and of course the governor of Ondo and the governor of Osun State, respectively. We welcome all of you. Thank you so very much. And of course, we also have the governor of Abia State here, doing so very well, along with the deputy president of the Senate and a host of other dignitaries here this evening. We want to bring an artist. This artist was the best graduating student, and he won multiple awards whilst he graduated from the university. But he's an artist of spoken words, Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, whilst you go for dinner, you've also been told that there are 5 service points and you are at liberty to stand up and go to the service point closest to you and have your sumptuous dinner. And whilst you are at that, we'd like to very quickly invite for the spoken words, Ohinoi Ohikere. Can we please have you join us on stage here? Ohinoi Ohikere. We'll keep the artists for spoken words. Music down, please. Bring the music down a little bit. We'll keep the artists for the spoken words in abeyance for now. And when we are done, we have 10 minutes to quickly fetch our meals and return to our seats. When we eventually get back to our seats, we'll introduce the artists for the spoken words, and then of course the next artist, and then of course the next one. So please savor your meals, enjoy your dinner. Bon appetit.
such a rush, my baby, slow down, come find your love. I'm hoping you see me, come serve it up. Loving when you stir it up, that body belong on TV. Oh, this feeling I can't hide. You're feeling up my mind, and I just don't know why. I just don't know why.
Let's get seated, please. It's not yet time for exchange of pleasantries. We announce that those that haven't been served to get up to serve themselves. But no time to exchange pleasantries, so that we don't break the sequence of this program. So I enjoin us to please get seated and our servers to quickly serve our gentlemen and ladies so that they too can get seated for the program to continue. Our young son, who is a talented creative artist, will be performing the spoken words in a few minutes. But we don't want to call him up to stage when the hall is still a bit, I won't call it rowdy, but it's not what's supposed to be. Don't forget that our Mr. President and delectable First Lady, they're on seat. They are on seat. So please, let's get seated. Thank you very much. Your son, my son, is ready to display God-given talent to all of us to see and appreciate how blessed we are as a nation. He's an award-winning young boy that came tops in all his papers. He's a son that you'll be proud of. And he's on standby. He's actually been waiting for 15 minutes now, because we don't want him to perform when you can't assimilate what he's presenting. So please, let's get seated as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Can you bring down the volume of the music? Thank you very much. Thank you. Your Excellency, can you put out the music completely? Thank you. Please put out the music completely. DJ, please kill the music. Thank you. Your Excellency, a very dear President, defendant of our democracy, please permit me at this juncture to introduce to you a very young boy who won so many awards, accolades, and encomiums as the best graduate and student in the university, but also has a God-given talent, which is innate in all of us, but his is outstanding. He has a gift of words, putting words together to make meaning. And today we're blessed to have with us, Your Excellency, Ohinoi Ohikere, the artist with the spoken words. Please let's welcome him with a resounding applause, please.
The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, GCFR, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I stand on all existing protocols. It is such an honor to be in the presence of such esteemed dignitaries. Today, we are gathered here to celebrate and mark a monumental milestone in our nation's history, the 25th anniversary of an unbroken journey of democratic governance. It's a tale of trials, triumph, heroes and icons who stood tall in the face of adversity to ensure that the voices and desires of our people remain the cornerstone of our governance. This battle for democracy began long before our independence, championed by visionaries like Sir Herbert Macaulay, Obafemi Awolowo, Duke of Africa, and Nahoro, Ahmadu Bello, and many more. These men laid the foundation for a democratic Nigeria and our independence. These men are the fathers and founders of today's Nigeria, lighting up the path for future generations. Though most of these visionaries are no more, I stand before you all today to remember and celebrate them, for they are true heroes of our democracy. This hard-earned democracy met its first challenge when the military seized control by gun. From Ironsi to Yakubu Gowon to Murtala Muhammad, from one soldier to another, crisis upon crisis, darkness loomed all over our country, leading to civil war, death, and other calamities. But out of that darkness came a light, Obasanjo, a military leader who handed power back to a civilian government led by Shehu Shagari. Shagari's administration symbolizes the resilience of democratic aspirations in Nigeria. Again, the military's thirst for power was still present. And in 1983, Muhammadu Buhari took power from Shagari, leading to many more years of authoritarian rule, championed by generals like Ibrahim Babangida, the Maradona of that time, who was said to have conducted the freest and fairest election just to have it annulled, and Sani Abacha, unapproachable, yet accessible by the bearers of the forbidden fruit, which led to his demise, paving way for a chance at democracy. And that chance was brought in by Abdulsalami Abubakar, a military leader who swiftly transitioned Nigeria back into civilian rule in a record time of just 9 months, a hefty price to pay. His actions ushered in the Fourth Republic, marking the beginning of our 25-year journey of uninterrupted democratic excellence. Abdulsalami Abubakar, a true hero of our democracy. History was made when Obasanjo, now a civilian, became president. His actions led to the first civilian-to-civilian transition in the year 2007. Obasanjo, a true hero of our democracy, he handed power over to Musa Umar Yar'Adua, a true servant leader who sought to reform our electoral processes, acknowledging the flaws in them and working tirelessly to address them. Yar'Adua, a true hero of our democracy. But due to his untimely death, Vice President Goodluck Jonathan assumed power. Jonathan's presidency was a testament of humility and democratic integrity. For in the year 2015, he made a historic phone call to his opponent, conceding defeat even before the final results were announced, thereby preventing political violence and solidifying Nigeria's name in the rule of democracy, in the book of democracy. Jonathan, a true hero of our democracy. The baton was then passed down to President Muhammadu Buhari, now a civilian, a once military leader. Buhari's tenure was marked by his efforts to strengthen democratic institutions despite health challenges. Buhari, a true hero of our democracy. So as we celebrate 25 years of democratic excellence, we recognize a man who has long prepared for this role of leadership, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Jagaban of Africa. From his early days with Shehu Yaradua's PDM to his unwavering support for Chief MKO Abiola, who paid the ultimate sacrifice for democracy. Abiola, a true hero of our democracy. President Tinubu is a steadfast advocate for democratic values, working relentlessly with NADECO, with the likes of Pa Adesanya, Kudirat, Ridwan, Dambazo, Chukwuemeka Ezefe, Bolaji Akinwumi, Obasha, and others. These men and women were torn, chased, persecuted, exiled, but never wavering in their commitment. These men and women are true heroes of our democracy. President Tinubu is a true hero of our democracy. Now, as we celebrate our past heroes and icons, we remember that although their tribes and tongues differ, they stood in brotherhood, united in their resolve to see Nigeria prosper. This is a virtue that I and my peers must and will imbibe. So as we celebrate 25 years of democratic excellence, we look past to our heroes past and legends who have guided us on this path to freedom of life, freedom of movement, freedom of speech. I am proud to be a part of this Nigerian tribe, this Nigerian culture, this one Nigerian religion. I represent the future of democracy, where we look forward to a future where democracy remains as the bedrock of our great nation, Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. Happy Democracy Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, our dear son, taking us back history and doing it eloquently well. Now, without much ado, we've gotten to the cutting of the cake. The cutting of the cake will make everything snappy because the time is fast spent. So for the cutting of the cake, I'm informed that all the 5 gentlemen that came up here to deliver goodwill messages will join Mr. President and his delectable wife, together with Vice President and his wife, the Senate President and his wife, our CJ, in actual fact, everyone on the table of Mr. President for the cutting of the cake, and also our elder statesmen on that table, our Baba Gana Kingibe, our Baba Bolaji Akinyemi, Baba Olusegun Oshoba. I'm told that we've been, yes, you are conducting the cutting of the cake, sir. I've been told that Mr. President will want you to do the conduction of the cutting of the cake. So everyone on the table there, Baba Pius Akinyelure. Sorry, we can't see everyone because of this light, but everyone on that table. And then the SGF and his wife, the Chief of Staff and his wife. I've mentioned Senate President and his wife, Deputy Senate President, Speaker, House of Representatives. Please, let's step up so that we can quickly do this cutting of the cake to be conducted by our own Baba, Aremo Olusegun Oshoba.
Chief Bisi Akonde and Chief Pius Akinyelure should also please join in. The Deputy President of the Senate has also been invited, Chief of Staff to the President and his wife. Chief Aremo Shegun Oshoba is to conduct the cutting of his cake. this very epoch-making and historic cake. So Chief Oshoba will be coming to the podium because this is where the microphone is, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, my Lord Honorable Justice Ariwola GCON, the President of the Senate and his wife, former Vice President Kingibe and his wife. Okay, he's here alone. Just the persons we've thus far mentioned, Secretary to Government of the Federation and his amiable wife, Vice President and his wife,
Mr. President, may I seek your permission, Mr. President, to invite the children of MKO Abiola. The team is not complete until we have Banquet Abiola, Dami Abiola. I've seen the two of them here. The children of Abiola should please join us, Mr.
They didn't tell us they're here. Thank
They're
you,
here.
sir.
Banquet is here. Abiola, Dami Abiola, please join the president in this cutting of the cake.
We were not informed that you were here, so thank you very, very.
Mr. President, it's a great joy to all of us who are in the struggle that you have emerged the first progressive president of this country. We have had presidents, but this is the first time we are having a progressive president who, I've told him many times, is not beholden to anybody. He got it on his own merit and by the grace of God. And after 25 years of democracy, we thank God that democracy has come to stand forever and ever in Jesus' name. And therefore, because we have the first progressive president, we will cut the cake with his name. I hope all of you will join me and give me a tea. I can't hear that. Can you give me a tea? The First Lady and the President should be ready. Give me a tea again.
T.
I. N. U. B. And you. Tinubu. Please wait. I want to join the photograph. I want to join the photograph.
Our Baba is coming to join in the photograph so that he doesn't miss out. Photographer, don't go yet. Our Baba Oshoba must be in the photograph. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, our dear First Lady. We're so blessed in Nigeria to have a senator as Mr. President and senator as First Lady. A beautiful, intelligent, smart, delectable, well-spoken First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Let's give her a round of applause. Ẹni téèyàn mú yangàn. Ìyàwó, màmá, ẹ̀gbọ́n, téèyàn mú yangàn. Olọ́lọ́run fún wa. God has bestowed unto us one of the best. One of the best. I've always admired her. Beautiful figure. Well-spoken, scintillating, tantalizing. I hear her say Abba. But it is true, ma. It's not all the time we have First Lady that is as smart and beautiful and intelligent as you. And we thank God for your life. Bless you, ma. We can see Mr. President still chatting with some of his friends. They call him Mr. Interconnectivity. Most of those that spoke today are due to the fact that our president cuts across all strata of the economy, all nations of the globe, well-connected and an amiable leader. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. President. Over to you, Andy.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Whilst we settle down, please can we take our seats? Please let's take our seats. Please be seated. The President is already seated. Can the rest of you please take your seats? Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Before we hit the climax of this event, I'd like to please ask all of you, those of you that are passionate about Nigeria, those of you that are as patriotic as our president, I'd like that we all settle down at this point as we bring in a man who sings about unity of purpose, a man who sings about unity of Nigerians, not minding what color, what tribe, what religion, what political platform you belong, a man who sings about unity. And he's been winning so many awards and encomiums from all across the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, I bring to you Timi Dakolo. Let's have that applause to please ginger him as he comes in. Timi.
Hope for you and I.
and tongues were united in a strength and resolve to uphold the honor of our land and for generations to come. Say, and for generations to come. We'll defend the land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend the land. We believe in Nigeria, and the promise she holds, and one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria, and we'll know we'll get there. Say we are with the fight. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we will shine like the sun. From the north, south, east, and west, say we are great nation with a fatherland. So we believe in peace and nation, and we'll know we'll get there someday. We are all with the fan. So we believe in Nigeria and the promise she loves, and that one day we will shine like the sun. Every Nigerian hear this, Nigeria hear this. What a great nation. Thank you very much, Timmy Dakolo. Can we have that round of applause for him one more time? And as you can see, he handed over the flag to our own dear president. I'd like that we please applaud him one more time. Thank you so very much for that wonderful and scintillating performance. That sets the tone at this juncture for the next item on our agenda this evening. And the next item on our agenda, with the belief that Nigeria, in the hands of God, and with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on the saddle, Nigeria will be great again. If you believe that, can we have that round of applause? It is at this point in time, Your Excellency, that we want to yield the podium to your second in command, your brother, your friend, your confidant, your trustworthy ally, in the person of His Excellency, Senator Kashim Ibrahim Shettima, JCON, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to then move the vote of thanks before we move on. Can we have that resounding applause for His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, Jagaban Borgu, Omezeri Igbo, one of Iboland, PKD Oran Nama, one of Ebonyi State, Elewai of Baramotu, Are of Ileoji, Are Ago of Egbaland. Your Excellency, the First Lady, the Indi Party Gable Senator Oluremi Tinubu, my dear spouse, distinguished President of the Senate and his spouse, members of the National Assembly present here, the Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives, ably represented by the Deputy Speaker, Your Lordship, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariola, GCON, our executive governors present here, the SGF, POS, the HOS, members of the Federal Executive Council present here, our elder statesmen, Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, who incidentally, Your Excellency, it might interest you to know that he is my brother. Both of us are native Maidugurians who were born and bred in the same neighborhood in Maiduguri. Baba BC Akande, Aremo Shogun Oshoba, Chief Pius Akinyelure, Senator Abu Ibrahim, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, Senator Lawali Shaibu, permanent secretaries and other heads of federal government agencies and parastatal present, members of the diplomatic corps, all the former governors, senators, and members of the House of Representatives, captains of industry, too numerous to mention, our royal fathers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today we remember a milestone like no other, a quarter century of the most successful democratic experiment in the history of this nation. These 25 years of our hard-won democracy have been built on the back, the sacrifices, the resources, and the resilience of fearless patriots, one of whom we are fortunate to have as our president today, the indomitable Jagaban Borgo. This night is a tribute to our heroes and heroines, to our change makers and chain breakers, to our voters and civil servants, to our activists and politicians, to our security personnel and industrialists, to our artisans and teachers, to our supporters and critics, and to our specialists and traders. Each person matters in keeping alive the people's government. So on behalf of my leader, I say thank you. Our democracy is because you are. These past 25 years have been a masterclass in the evolution of democracy. We have learned that, like a baobab tree, democracy only grows more resilient with time. Democracy is a journey of sacrifices and rewards, and trials and triumphs. What distinguishes our democracy is the commitment and courage of every Nigerian. Tonight, We have been reminded of this incredible journey by the talents and brilliance of our exceptional fellows who have enlightened and entertained us. For this, we say thank you. Mr. President, allow me to convey the profound gratitude of our nation to you. Your life's mission has been a never-ending pursuit of democratic principles. From the moment you entered the prayer for our return to democracy in those dark years, your struggles to build and nurture a platform where democracy can thrive have been unmistakable. From the 90s up to the 2023, you paid your dues, and the nation heard and saw you when you saw the chance to guide us towards a brighter, more inclusive future. For this, we offer our deepest appreciation. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I crave your indulgence to lend me your ears. Some 3 years ago, there was a clamor for a northerner to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari. That clamor was well-fueled, was well-funded, and it reached a crescendo with the national leadership of our party largely in alignment with that aspiration. There was fear, palpable fear, across the length and breadth of this nation. And there emerged a collective of like minds. These like minds were largely driven by a forest of ideas, who were motivated by a desire to have a unifying leader who ponders neither to religious nor ethnic agenda, who is not beholden to any toxic regional solidarity, and yet known for outstanding leadership. We searched the length and breadth of this nation, and in Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we found a leader that embodied those attributes. Winston Churchill said, "Truth is so precious that it has to be surrounded by a bodyguard of lies." And Charles Precious Scott said, "Neither in what it gives, nor in what it does not give, nor in its mode of presentation was the unclouded face of truth so far wrong. Comment is free, but facts are sacred." In this age, where techno-anarchists are holding us to ransom and are drumming down our throats a narrative that is at variance with reality, it is very imperative for us to tell the world, to tell the nation, the pathway, the trajectory, the reason that took us to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. At the risk of sounding repetitive, I bear to say that this is a man who made tremendous sacrifices, who has this passion, this aggressive passion, this ferocious penchant for the enthronement of democracy in this country. As attested to by some of the earlier speakers, this is a man who expended his resources for the enthronement of democracy in this country. Our younger compatriots must be in the know of Asiwaju's history from the past 2 decades, and many of our contemporaries are alive to tell the story of his large-heartedness. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at the advent of the current democratic experiment, 20 years after the NPN's infamous waterslide and landslide victories, another landslide phenomenon was reenacted in this country in the 2003 general elections. That was the time when the ruling party brought John their way and literally and figuratively captured the southwest of this country. Ever a man of vision, a man of courage. At the end of the day, the ruling party captured Oyo, Ogun, Ondo, Oshun, and Ekiti. He was the lone man standing. And he's from Lagos Redoubt. Ever a man who believes in the rule of law. He clawed back, and one by one, through the process of the law, he was able to retrieve the stolen mandates of Raub Aregbesola in Oshun, Mimiko in Ondo, Comrade Adams Alio Oshomole in Edo, John Kayode Hayemi in Ekiti State. When his contemporaries were struggling for a space on the dinner table in Abuja, and in the process throwing their colleagues, their allies under the bus, he took the opportunity to build an alternative platform for the Nigerian democracy. Without this gentleman seated here, Nigeria could have been turned into a one-party state. We owe him a debt of gratitude. This nation needs to eulogize him and recognize the prominent role he played in our democratic evolution. He has been, and has always remained, a sanctuary for victims of political witch hunt. From Atiku Abubakar, when he was chased out of the PDP, he rushed to the Lord of the Bodilon, who gave him a platform and a political structure to contest for the presidency of this nation. 4 years later, another northern Nigerian seated here, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, was given the chance to fly the plaque of the ACN in the 2011 presidential election. This is a man who has shown consistency that underlines his pan-Nigerian credentials by supporting northern Nigerians in 4 electoral cycles for the presidency of this country. Where others sees opportunity to divide the people, he sees a window to build a new nation. Where others try to manipulate ethno-religious sentiment for political ends, he sees opportunity for alliance building. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I urge all of us to stand up, to rise and give a standing ovation to this gentleman. You can sit down, please. Thank you to all the patriots who have made this a reality. And to our distinguished guests, your presence here today is a powerful affirmation of the spirit of solidarity and hope that binds us together. Your support and participation have made this celebration truly remarkable, a testament to our shared vision for a democratic and prosperous Nigeria. So thank you. Thank you all once again for gracing this historic occasion with your presence. May our democracy flourish. May the light of this nation shine ever more brilliantly on the global stage. There is no doubt that the hope of the nation shall be renewed in the long run. God bless you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Okay. On this note, it's my singular honor and privilege to cherish forever to invite His Excellency, our leader, to give his remarks.
Please be seated. While standing on the existing well-enumerated protocol, it's okay, but my darling wife the Vice President and his dear wife, the President of the Senate, and Chief Justice of Nigeria and members of the judiciary here present. Tonight is not formal for me to go on and on. But let me look at the table on my right. Professor Bolaji Akeyemi, Rabagana Kingibe, Chief Aremo Segun Osoba, Chief Bisi Akonde, and Pius Akinyelure. Lawan Shaibu, it's good to see you. Looking well, despite the challenges of Zamfara. It is a great honor for me to be here to represent the heart and soul of our democratic struggle in the country. Early this morning, I had a swagger, and it's on the social media. They are confused whether I was doing Buga or doing Babanriga. But it is a day to celebrate democracy while doing Dobale for the day. I'm a traditionally Yoruba boy. I did my Dobale. Democracy is a day that is worthy of falling for. It is a joy to see all of you here. What is that again? We ain't going to move an inch. We are still having our dinner. So keep your press away. I've had excellent comment and a very touching remarks about myself and about the past. Thank you. My sincere gratitude to all of you is standing by me. I promise you I won't fall. Nigeria is a great country. We include in our national anthem the essence of service. I've seen many governors, both live and on TV, serving their people. They belong to other parties, and many of them are here tonight. Thank you, Governor Eno of Akwa Ibom. Thank you, Governor Kwara. My comrade from Kaduna, thank you. Sheriff No one to arrest. Thank you very much. And Abia, thank you. If I miss you, forgive me. Ododo, I will see you. No matter how short a man is, you will see the sky. Everybody had forgotten the partisanship color and embraced that's green, white, green that depicts Nigeria. That is the value that we hold there to ourselves. That is the baton. That is the reason that we say we hand over a banner without stain to our children and grandchildren. Is it not true that Nigeria is greater than any one of us? That the unity of this country cannot be traded. Yes. I saw many criticism about national anthem duty. Therefore, if you cannot change the name Nigeria, are you the creator of Nigerian name? Nigeria is blessed. Our complexity, yes. Our diversity, unending. What is the best road to success? And I'm standing before you, promising you. I did my broadcast in the morning, but as a price of the dinner you cost me tonight, I'm still making some remarks to offset the dinner price, even though I described today as low-key. But I have to celebrate with you, my dear brothers. Senate President, Deputy Senate President, you get a notice from me if I've changed my mind. On minimum wage. He's looking at me with one kind high. Nothing but about minimum wages. We're going to do it what Nigeria can afford, what you can afford, what I can afford. You ask you to cut your coat according to your size. If you have size at all. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a night that we should plan jovially and celebrate our God-given country. I'm glad that you all are here. I'm excited. The promises I could make, struggling to bring the food prices down, but those bandits leave the farmers alone and bring Nigeria back to its glory of production and harvesting. We can do it. we can produce our way out of the history of complaint. We can make Nigeria a tremendously successful country. If we gather as we gather here tonight, encourage our children about the charter of our value system. As they look upon me as a leader to make the changes, what about us, the rest of you, the rest of your children, making those changes too? What do you tell them? How do you teach them? Whatever we have to invest in our national orientation, I think we should do it. Before I left for this dinner, there was a news. We commend those custom officers in Kebbi, conundrum, rejecting millions of bribery. To forget the vandalization, arrest of those vandalizing our track, our rail track. What do you call that? Distinguished leaders, we have a lot of work that we must do about our country, about our citizens. Citizenship is not just the dictionary meaning of it, it's the actual character in us. Let's teach this one to our children so that Nigeria, collectively, we will do the job that we are called upon to do as one family, one nation, under God Almighty. Thank you very much.
Okay, on the mandate. 3 hearty cheers to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and our Mr. President. Hip, 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 hip. Hooray. Hip, 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 hip. Hooray. Hip, 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 hip. Hooray. National anthem. Thank you. land where no man is oppressed, and all the peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Thank you so much. As we allow His Excellency to take his leave, please don't block the thoroughfare. Wait for His Excellency to take his leave. And so we also want to appreciate all of them that put this together, especially the State House Chief of Protocol, the Permanent Secretary, State House, the security team, the media team,
the Chief of Staff,
the Chief of Staff to the President, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Events and Programs, Attica, who would not take a no for an answer. It took her a lot of work to convince Timi Dakolo to cancel his trip to the United States yesterday, to be with us today. So we'd like to appreciate all of you, and especially to the governors, governors of Kwara, governors of Akwa Ibom, Imo, Rivers, and all the governors and all the presidents of the Senate, of course, and his wife, and all of you. Thank you so very much.
It's been a beautiful evening, and I'm glad we've been able to show God Almighty that we appreciate what He's doing for us as a nation. To let you know, very soon we'll be having Mr. President on your program towards the greater Nigeria. The Chief of Staff and the Honorable Minister Information, they are working on this together with my DG colleague, the DG NTA, so that we can use the platform to inform and enlighten Nigerians more on the policies and activities and objectives of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
And on behalf of Dr. Mrs. Omotayo Motosho, I am Andy Gabriel, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and continue to pray for our president and Nigeria will be better. The governors, thank you very much. And please, let's have some light music as we allow